der Natur, in nature. In der Natur. Hier, also hier gibt es vier Wörter, so 4 words that you should know when you're talking about nature. Die Natur, der Naturfreund, natürlich Naturfreundin, yeah. So if you want something feminine, weiblich, make it die Naturfreundin. Draußen and im Freien. So those 2 words, that phrase as well as draußen mean outdoors. Here's some sentences and phrases utilizing nature. Es liegt in der Natur der Sache. It's in the nature of things. So this is utilizing a case called genitive case. So that's of things, genitive. Notice die Natur, a two-way preposition, so that's why sometimes it's not always die. So think about the grammar behind that as well. Erholung in der freien Natur. So here we have in nature, but freien, so really making sure that you're definitely outdoors. This utilizes an adjective, but we want to make sure we watch out for that as well. So Erholung in der freien Natur, outdoor leisure, recreation, open air, outdoor access. And then this one I find interesting, certainly loving classical music. Beethoven utilizing the phrase Die Ehre Gottes aus der Natur. So glory of God in nature. So utilizing a different turn of phrase here attributed to him. But this once again changes the article of nature. So talking about the path. So if you're outdoors and you're exploring, you might utilize some elements such as a compass. So wie weißt du den Weg? How do you know the way or the path? Ich habe einen Kompass und eine Karte. So when we're talking about a Karte, we're talking about a map, not a ticket or a card. Das ist nicht der richtige Weg. So if we're talking about you're going the wrong way, it's not the right way. Wir sind falsch gegangen. So this is present perfect tense. So that is not the right way. We went false. We went the wrong way is what you're saying. So let's dive in and take a little look at this idea of a compass. In German, we have Nord, Süd, Ost, and West. So Nord, let's see if I can write this okay, with the mouse. Nord, West, Süd, oops, and then Ost. O-S-T. So Nord, West, Süd, Ost. So make sure you kind of know that for a compass. The other thing you're going to want to know is like probably talking about in the direction of. So in German here, we would say im Norden. Sorry about that. Im Norden. So in the north. And then we would say im Westen. So in the west. Im Süden. In the south. And then over here we would say im Osten. So make sure you know and have Nord, West, Süd, Ost, and then im Norden, im Westen, im Süden, im Osten. If you're taking notes, feel free to even like draw this as a compass and pause and rewind as needed. So directional things. So elements of vocabulary. So die Karte, as I've already explained. Yes, card or ticket sometimes. But in the context of telling directions, it's a map. Der Kompass, which we're looking at, is a compass. To orient oneself, this utilizes a reflexive preposition. So I didn't actually do an example there, but um, ich orientiere mich. I orient myself. So you have to make sure you use a reflexive pronoun. And then, of course, the place that you're going. So, or it also means town, but if you're talking about direction, place is a good definition. So a compass itself has some interesting elements. You might want to jot these down as well. Gehäuse, Windrose, Kompass, Nadel, Schutzglas. So parts of the Kompass. Other vocab to focus on. Survival training, das Training, ja, sagt man auch. Das Seil, rope. One of my favorite German uh, children's stories, Till Eulenspiegel, has a story. That's kind of the first time I've learned the word rope. It's about a prankster, and he has to get out of the house, but he's in trouble, and so he basically takes a rope and he tightrope across the city between houses. Der Baum, klettern, to climb. Uh, der Knoten, a knot. That almost looks, you have the word knot in there. Straf machen. And some elements of sentences. Was macht ihr mit dem Seil? What would that mean? So write down the German and then translate in English. And then write this down in German. Wir klettern auf den Baum. And then translate what that means in English. And this one I did for you because there's some interesting elements here. But das Seil muss straff gespannt sein. So the rope has to be tight. It must be. So utilizing a modal here I thought would be helpful. So it must be tight. So make sure you have the English here and the English here. Wie kommen wir über diesen Bach? Wir hangeln uns über den Bach. Sehr interessant. So what does that mean? Let's look at dissect some vocab for this idea of Bach. And I suppose here's sort of a bad drawing of one. That might help. Die Strömung. Entschuldigung. It's early in the morning. Hard to pronounce my umlauts. Der Bach. Das Kajak. Der Kanute. Paddeln. Sich hangeln. And now maybe you can figure out what these mean in English. Wie kommen wir über diesen Bach? Wir hangeln uns über den Bach. So make sure you, now knowing some of this vocabulary, translate these as well. Auf Englisch. Und ich glaube, die beste für die letzte. Was habt ihr später vor? Vorhaben. To prepare. So separable prefix verb. So zum Beispiel, wir machen einen Picknick. Wir machen ein Feuer. So daytime, nighttime, things that you could do outside in nature. Genießen's a good vocab word to know. Das Streichholz, match. Das Feuer, fire. Und das Picknick, oben, ja. Now, thinking about everything that you've learned and other vocabulary words that you know from prior knowledge, go ahead and write an acrostic poem using the word Naturfreund. So being a nature lover, what are some elements, nouns, adjectives, verbs, phrases, if you will, that could be used to describe nature? So your job would be to take the first letter of the word Natur, and each letter will correspond to the first line. These are two websites I find helpful when dealing with English-German vocabulary. Zum Beispiel here you could put Feuer, but now that I gave you that as an example, I want you to come up with something else. Um, so Feuer is a word, but you could also turn that element into a phrase. So that is your task. The D's, easy to say a der, die, das, to help you with an article. The E's and ein, if that helps. But try your hand at an acrostic poem of the word nature lover. Danke.